What's up, everybody? Welcome to Human Innovation Tarot. My name is Eddie with Imagine Life Development Center. And today I wanted to share a video that I took from a recent live tarot reading. And this reading, or this video rather, is about the head versus the heart. And understanding what happens when our ego is at war with our heart and our soul. Most people spend most of their lives in their head, in their ego, because life is difficult. Life is painful. We go through lots of things in life, and the purpose of the head, the purpose of our ego, when I say the head, I mean the mind. The purpose of the mind and the ego is to keep us safe. Our mind, our brain, does not care about our fulfillment. It doesn't care how happy we are, doesn't care if we ever find the love of our life, doesn't care if we ever make a lot of money, doesn't care if you ever reach your dreams or goals or desires. Your mind just doesn't care. Your mind only cares about one thing and one thing alone: keeping you safe. Keeping you safe, keeping you certain, keeping life the same, predictability, and making sure that essentially you never step out of your comfort zone, and that as long as you're safe and secure and comfortable and life is predictable, or at least as predictable as your mind can, trick you into believing that it is, or manipulate you or control your circumstances, then, hey, you're living life the way that you need to. However, our heart and our soul is our divine truth. Our divinity comes from our heart space. And so this video explains, in a romantic sense, what happens when we get caught between our head and our heart. And this is a very important video to understand. The information shared in this video, rather, is very important to understand because it's a very common pattern. And what ends up happening is we end up in this kind of catch-22. We end up in indecision. We're incapable. We're paralyzed. One part of us wants to go towards love, connection, unity, intimacy. Part of us wants to move towards our dreams, our goals, our desires. But then our mind wants us to stay safe, wants us to stay in our comfort zone, wants us to remain in predictability and avoid change at all costs because change is risky. So most people, because our ego and our mind, we spend so much time on our ego in our mind, rather, the same thing. Most people spend their whole lives feeding the ego and feeding the mind and giving their mind and their ego power and authority and control over their destiny, over their life, and over their body, over their nervous system, over their patterns, that 9 times out of 10, the mind and the ego wins out. And so ideally, what we would do is we would reverse this. We would learn how to live from our heart, live from our soul, live from our divinity, living from our divine truth. And as a result of living out of our divine truth, the ego will eventually be submitted to our spirit. Because the ego is not going to go away. We're going to have this thing with us our entire lives. And it serves a purpose. And keeping us safe is not a bad thing. It's just only bad when it gets out of balance. So that's what this video discusses. And just a fair word of warning, I do get passionate in my live tarot readings, so there is some adult language. So those of you who have sensitive ears, just be aware of that. And I hope that you guys enjoy the video. Got to be careful here. Words are powerful. And if I say something, I say the wrong thing, you're going to take it and you're going to run with it. So I got to be careful here. Okay, let's start here. Whoever this person is from your past, you were meant to meet this person. Fate and destiny, this is a fated person. Okay, that part, 100% fact. Now, and I'm going to show you, so we have it here, fate and destiny. It's implied here with the ZODIAC. So if you had your chart and somebody else's chart, not somebody else, if you had their chart, I mean, obviously your chart and their chart, you would see why you guys, so maybe you have like a vertex relationship or some other connection in your astrology chart. In other words, the bottom line is your astrology chart would show you why it's fate and destiny. But you have it here, you have it here, it's implied here with the love connection, and you also basically have it here with the Wheel of Fortune, which is essentially the same card as fate and destiny here. And then you have two past cards. You have the past here, the bottom of this deck, and then you have the Six of Cups here, double past energy there. So it's a past person, but it's also a past life relationship. It's both. Okay? Now, this person, this is definitely somebody from your past, and it's ended. Clearly. But second chances. You're going to have a chance to have a new beginning with this past person. And I don't think, despite the fact that you've been trying to let this person go, I do not think that you've been very successful. If you were being completely honest. And it's okay. No judgment. But you have the Four of Cups here. You have the Three of Swords. You have the Two of Swords. And I'm going to explain all of this to you in a second. You have Stuck. You have the Fortress energy. I'm just pointing out the different cards, showing me the different things. And then obviously there he is. The Captain energy, there he is again. And then this Prisoner energy as well. And this is the more interesting one of all of them. This is like the Prisoner card here is basically you, like, so there's this part of you that's been wanting to release and let this person go, but no matter how hard you try, you feel like you can't. And that's why it feels like a prison. It's like, God, I want to fucking let this person go. Like, why can't I let this person go? Why doesn't their energy leave me? Like, I don't want to think about them anymore. I don't want to dream about them anymore. I don't want to feel their energy anymore. And it's like, no matter what you do, you can't get this person's energy to go away. And the reason for that, there is a reason for that, so you're not crazy. The reason for that, again, is Wheel of Fortune and fate and destiny. Because essentially, the reason that you guys met in the first place has not been completed. You have a soul contract with this person, and your soul contract is not completed. Now, we do not have the soul contract card on the table, but it's implied. Okay? So, the big picture here is basically, your question is about love and relationships. But the truth is, deep down, what you're really wanting is this guy. Deep down, you still want him. Even though whatever happened in the past, there's pain. There's been pain. I see that here, the Three of Swords. There's been pain. And there's a few energies attached to the Two of Swords. Part of the energy is you're in denial of the fact that you still want this person. You don't want this person, but you do. That's part of it. The second energy attached to the Two of Swords is you actually really don't want anybody else. Your ego is telling you, no. You need to let this guy go. They hurt you. You should be done with them. Yeah, that's what we want. We want to move on to somebody else. That's why it's swords energy, because the swords have to do with the mind. However, your heart is in disagreement with your mind. What your heart wants and what your head wants are two different things. Your head wants you to forget this person and deny what your heart is saying and move on. No, let him go. Screw him, fuck him, let's be done with him. What your heart wants is him. This is you, your heart energy, thinking about him. That's what this cup is, with the flowers and the little rainbow. And you can see her eyes are kind of, sort of like when someone's like staring off into space. They're checked out, they're zoning out. Her eyes are clearly zoned out, thinking about this cup over here. She's not looking at these 3 cups down here. She doesn't give a shit about that. Her heart knows what it wants. Her heart wants that cup. Now her mind, your mind on the other hand, is like, nope, that's not what we want. So the prisoner energy and this illusions energy here have everything to do with the conundrum that you find yourself in between your head and your heart. Because your head is trying to protect you from this getting hurt, which is its job. Your brain is doing what it's meant to do. And it's not just your brain, it's everybody's brain. The brain's job for all of us, every single one of us, your brain, your mind, your brain doesn't give 2 shits about your happiness. The primary function of your brain is to keep you safe at all costs. That's it. How do we keep you safe? That's it. It doesn't care about anything else. It doesn't care if you're happy, you're fulfilled, you find love, you don't find love. It doesn't care. It's just, how do we keep you safe? That's the brain. That's the job of the brain. The brain is also not your spirit or your consciousness. Your brain does not give a shit about this kind of stuff. Destiny, fate, soul contracts, all that kind of stuff. Your brain doesn't give a shit about that because it doesn't have to do with survival. So the reason that you're feeling pulled in 2 different directions, which is keeping you stuck, it keeps everybody stuck. Anytime, just so everybody understands this, anytime your mind is not in agreement with things going on in your heart, 99% of the time, it's going to put you in indecision, or what we call on the fence, no man's land, the void. The void is when you're not moving forward, you're not moving backwards, there's nothing, you're just stagnating. Stagnation. Stagnation is death, because all energy is designed to either create or destroy, because destroy is just another form of creation, right? Technically, energy can't be destroyed, right? It can only transform. It can only change forms. Energy cannot be created and it cannot be destroyed. It can only change the form that it's currently in. We perceive energy as creation and destruction, but it's not true. All energy is just, all it can do is transform from one state to another. That's it. That's scientifically proven. That's a fact. So, but the way that we experience it is different. When our mind is wanting to go one way and our heart is wanting to go another way, and they're both evenly pulling us, meaning one is not stronger than the other, we end up in a state of stagnation. We do nothing because, the mind is like, no, I need to play it safe, but the heart is like, no, but we need to do this. But neither one is really winning out. They're both equal. And so we're just there, just existing. And that's where most people's suffering comes from. Most people, stagnation is what real suffering is. It's not pain. It's not risk. It's not going for it because, hell, at least if you took a chance, you took action, or you went one way or the other, something would occur. But doing nothing or just stagnating in the same old place, then, you're just going to watch the days and the months and the years go by and wishing that something's going to change, and nothing's really going to change because it's in your hands to change it. That's the reality for all of us. Nothing changes until we change it. And so, for you, worthy queen, let's look at the whole thing. So this person from your past, you had an ending with this person. Hey guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. If you haven't already, please like, share, subscribe to the channel. All the other information is in the description box below. And as always, my friends,
I'm not a bloody psychic.